Welcome back to the Red Star Rides. I'm your host Connor, and in today's video, I'll be reviewing Velocicoaster at Universal's Islands of Adventure. Quick disclaimer before the video starts: if my voice sounds a little bit different, that is because I'm a little bit under the weather right now, so just keep that in mind. You get to enjoy some beautiful Velocicoaster footage that I took from Universal because I went there in late September of 2021, and I got to ride this ride on its opening year. We're going to go ahead and throw some statistics at you guys. It is 4,700 feet long, 155 feet tall, 70 miles per hour with two launches, one that goes to 50 miles per hour, and the second one that boosts you from 40 to 70, and it also has four inversions: a Immelman, a dive loop, a zero-G stall, and a barrel roll. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into the layout of Velocicoaster. Your experience on Velocicoaster starts with a 50 mile per hour launch to kick off the ride, flying up into the Immelman loop and getting completely whipped back down, flying right back up into a dive loop, falling right back down, going into a right-hand overbank turn, hitting a very strong ejector moment, flying up through the rocks, little S-spin going down, under some supports and rocks, into a left-hand overbank, going through another S-spin kind of deal, up into what tries to be an airtime hill, outer banked, and then dropping down into the 40 mile per hour to 70 mile per hour launch, flying up into that 155 foot tall top hat, where you completely get whipped down the drop, flying up into the zero-G stall, back down into a Intamin wave turn, back around into an outer banked insane death hill, flying back around into the overbank, and then into the final stretch, speed hill, Mosasaurus Roll over the water, popping up into a right-hand step-up and a left-hand step-up into the brakes. And that was your experience on Jurassic World Velocicoaster. Okay, now it's time to talk about some other aspects of Velocicoaster. I think one of the reasons why I love this roller coaster so much is because of its appearance, how well it rides, and its theming. It's beautiful. It's on the side of a lake, jungle trees everywhere, the big black track and supports just towering over everything else in Universal. And it's beautiful to look at. And the theming in the queue line is pretty spectacular if you really think about it. You do not get bored waiting in that line. It's like Hagrid. I would gladly wait 2 hours for this ride. One, because it's amazing, like Hagrid, and two, the theming is phenomenal, like Hagrid. I would totally wait 2 hours, or even possibly longer. But I did get 13 rides on Velocicoaster, and we get Fast Pass anywhere we go now because when we go somewhere, we want to make the most of the experience, and Velocicoaster, as of opening year 2021, does not have Fast Pass, but we still managed in 2 days to get 13 rides, which I'm impressed. I impressed myself by getting those 13 rides. The, what you can call Raptor Paddock section with all the rocks and the trees and the gates around you, all that, which you just saw from the video recording, all that is fairly Hagrid-like with a little bit of an extra intensity, but it is just a really good kind of start to the ride. It builds up the anticipation. The launch, not super powerful. It does a little rollback before, like Kingda Ka or Stealth would, and it's not the most powerful launch in the world, but it is good. It's no Copperhead Strike launch where it's like a bike acceleration. Nah, this is actually a decent launch. And the speed on this ride is phenomenal. I love how fast you feel like you're going. Through the zero-G stall and all that in the top hat, especially the top hat, you feel like you're flying. And you are. You're going 70 miles per hour, which is That's good speed. That's really fast for any Universal Disney coaster. That's really fast. And this ride, just good. There's a lot of ejector airtime moments, so if you're into that kind of thing, you're going to have a blast. Because the top of the top hat, if you're in the back row, you get completely whipped on the airtime hill after the dive loop and that turn, that airtime hill completely whips in the back row. Any row on this ride is good, especially for some of those elements. And the Mosasaurus Roll over the water, which I find Universal beautifully named that roll the Mosasaurus Roll, because the Mosasaurus was a dinosaur that lived in the water. Anyways, any scene on the ride, you are going to go absolutely flying on an inversion. I would never say that. However, the Mosasaurus Roll, when you go into it, you start going in like a normal roll, and then you quickly whip out of it. So you get completely just airtime bonkers out of that roll. The speed hill, some floater, which kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting floater on this ride. And overall experience, beautiful on this ride. I rode, my first ever ride on this thing was in the front row, and it was actually first train of the day as well, so it was running slow in the front row when I rode it, but it was still good. Don't get me wrong, it was still great. And then I rode back row, back row, back row, back row, and the list goes on. I basically rode back row all 13 rides, except for 4. That one front row ride, a row 11, a row 9, and a row 4. Those were the other rows that we went in, just to experience, and I didn't want to waste a ride in the middle on this thing, because I didn't know how many times I was going to ride it, so I wanted to ride in the best seat, which is the back. Either side, because they are 2 across seating, either seat in the back row, whether it be right or left, you'll get insane airtime. I don't prefer one over the other, but fun fact about me, I'm deaf in one of my ears, so I will always try to sit on the right side. So then my left ear can hear the person who's sitting next to me. So like if we're on the brake run or something, I can hear who's talking to me. It's just nice. Also, one queue line aspect I forgot to mention. You'll see it right now. The train flies by in a part of the queue line and raptors chase the train. That's very cool. I very much like that. And you'll see it right here. Look, Blue. Hello. And he just kind of roars. There's lots of noise. It's very loud. And I like it. I really do enjoy this ride. It is in my top 5. It is by far the best coaster in Florida. Even though there are really good ones. Hulk, Mako, Hagrid, Kumba, Cheetah Hunt. Florida's stacked. But overall, for this review on Velocicoaster, I give it a 10 out of 10, 100%. I love this ride. Would not change anything about it. If it was longer, honestly, I don't think I would like it as much. One thing I also forgot to mention, locker system. Locker system on this ride is beautiful. You can have your phone in the line for basically the whole line, and then once you're in the final area of the line, which is the pre-show, you put your phone in a locker. It's free with your park ticket. You ride the ride, and the lockers are double-sided. So you get out, and you go up to whatever station you're at, and the stations are color-coded, they have numbers on them, and they're dinosaur-coded. There's, like, Triceratops, T-Rex, Brontosaurus, like, there's a bunch of different dinosaur icons. So if you know dinosaurs, you can just remember the dinosaur icon, or the color, or the number of the locker station, or the number of your exact locker. There's lots of options. You just go up to it, scan your ticket, your locker will pop open, you can grab your stuff. It's not big enough for anything like bags, so if you want to put your locker if you want to put bags in a locker, which we don't have to deal with, because I have a mom that doesn't ride the ride, so she just kind of carries our stuff. Yeah, you had to pay for that, sorry. Velocicoaster, 10 out of 10, wouldn't change anything. Beautiful, just everything about this. Music, I don't know if there's supposed to be on-ride audio or not. In the Universal POV, there is on-ride audio, but I don't know if they really did that on this ride. I assume they did, but it didn't work for us, so yeah. Hope you enjoyed this review of Velocicoaster, and leave me your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you want to ride Velocicoaster? And if you've ridden it, what are your thoughts on it? Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video, and this is the Red Slayer Rides signing out. Goodbye.